let's start the interview, man. So can you just walk me through like what are all the tools you have worked on and what are all the daily activities that you're gonna involve?
Sure. Actually, I started my career as a build and release engineer.
Mm-hmm.
In the initial days, I have worked with the tools like source code management tool like Git, build tools like Maven, and Jenkins. Okay. In the initial days, I was going through the part of continuous integration itself.
Okay.
And after 2 years, I have been shifted to the DevOps end-to-end part like CI/CD, continuous integration to continuous delivery. Here,
Okay.
I work with the tools like um, application servers,
Mm-hmm.
containerization tools,
Mm-hmm.
and configuration management tools like Ansible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll just move on with the tools. So I'll just go by tool by tool.
Sure.
So we'll start with Git. So have you worked in Git cherry pick?
Yeah.
Why Git cherry pick is used?
Mm, See, suppose
Mm-hmm.
there is what is it? Developer has committed some code,
Okay.
okay, and that is being deployed into the prod.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, after going all the QA and everything,
Okay.
but they found some bug in it.
Mm-hmm.
So as of that bug, the version should be reverted
Mm-hmm.
to keep the application up.
Okay. Okay.
So at that time, we use Git cherry pick to search for the particular commit and take that code and deploy.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. Um, So let's say you're working on some branch. Okay, so
Sure.
let's say you are working on some feature API. Okay,
Okay.
so there you're assigned for some new feature design, and you're working on that new feature. Okay, and after like you're in 40% development of that new feature, and your manager says like this feature is on hold. Okay, and now so there is some issue with the old code itself, so you need to
Okay.
fix that first. But for that you need fresh basically you need to take off all the changes that you did for new feature, right? You need to take off that.
Yeah.
So for this what would you do? Like
Oh,
you need to basically you need a clean working workspace.
workspace.
Yeah.
So then I'll use the stash memory
Okay.
from Git,
Mm-hmm.
which is available in Git, so
Mm-hmm.
that I'll use the Git stash
Mm-hmm.
save command, so
Okay.
that whatever the work that I have been doing
Mm-hmm.
will be saved in a temporary storage.
Okay.
Okay, then I will shift to the branch
Okay.
where I have to work, and I'll complete that part of work, and then I'll just bring the code from the temporary memory to my working space
Mm-hmm.
by using Git stash pop.
Okay. Okay. So have you come across anytime like conflicts?
We have faced some issues like getting some Git conflicts,
Mm-hmm.
it's by the conflict has been raised by the code itself.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm not aware of the coding part,
Mm-hmm.
I used to take the help of the developers and who is to resolve those conflicts.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So can you tell me the command to list all the branches?
Git branch
Mm-hmm.
-a.
Okay. So now let's move on to Maven. Okay.
Okay.
So, so I mean, how comfortable are you with Maven? So have you worked on Maven or just
Yeah,
like,
I have worked on my.
okay. So do you know, there'll be some local repository called as .m2.
Yeah.
So let's say, I mean, basically when you build your project, so
Okay.
there will be like first it will search in local repository. If it is there, it will take from that. If it is
Okay.
not, then it will take from central repository.
Yeah.
Let's say I don't want to use a .m2 as local repository. I need to use some other folder as my local repository. So is it possible in Maven?
Yeah, it's possible in Maven. Like in the pom.xml, there is and there are some modules under
Okay.
that where we can go there, can find the source. Okay,
Okay.
there we have to change the path.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So and also Maven is like convention over configuration, correct?
Yeah.
So means like it assumes few things. Like it assumes like the source code should be there under source main Java, and the test cases should be there under source test, and resources should be there under source main resources. Those kind
Okay.
of stuff it will assume, right? So let's
Yes.
say my project requirement is like I don't want to store my code in source main Java. So I need to have a different folder structure. Okay,
Okay.
so can we achieve it by Maven? So can I override these values?
Yes, we can.
So
For
where we
example, there
okay.
is a what is it? In the pom.xml,
Mm-hmm.
we'll go for the parent. Mm,
Super POM, you're talking about
yeah.
Super
So
POM.
yeah, yeah, super pom.
Okay.
There we can mention that whatever is required.
Okay. Okay. And that's fine. So I mean, have you used? I mean, like have you seen like in POM.xml there will be something called as dependencies and plugins, right?
Yes. Yes.
So why we need them? Like what are dependencies? What are plugins?
Mm,
Okay, fine. Do you know Maven build lifecycle?
yeah.
So can you just list out?
There are three life cycles in Maven.
Mm-hmm.
That is clean,
Mm-hmm.
site, and default.
Okay.
Okay, clean will have only a single goal,
Okay.
uh, and site will have single goal, that is
Mm-hmm.
site,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and the default will have six goals.
Okay.
That is validate,
Mm-hmm.
compile,
Mm-hmm.
test,
Okay.
package,
Mm-hmm.
install, and deploy.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And also, so let's say so basically Maven is used for generating artifacts.
Yes.
So jar or var. So my question is here, so do you need to explicitly mention in pom.xml that you should create jar or var, or by looking at the code, Maven will create artifact according to it?
See, for the requirement of Jor, it's not required to uh, mention that the jar is required. But if
Hmm.
we require var,
Hmm.
we should mention it in the pom.xml.
Okay. So do you know the tag, particular tag, what we need to mention?
That's a packaging tag will be there.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So let's jump on to shell scripting. So have you worked on shell scripting?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say I have a file, okay. So in that I'll be having many IP addresses, IPv4,
Okay.
okay. So now my requirement is like I need to identify unique IP addresses, and also I need to
Okay.
identify how many times that particular IP address is there in that particular file. So do you know the command for that?
So then we can use cat
Mm-hmm.
file name
Okay.
pipe
Mm-hmm.
unique -n.
Okay. So basically you're telling like it will give
Whatever the IP address which are unique, it will mention.
Okay, fine. So do you know exit status in shell scripting?
Yeah.
So what does it mean? What does exit status means?
See, if dollar
Mm-hmm.
mm, dollar question mark, no, $0, if the value, I don't know.
It's okay, that's fine. No issues.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say you have a file, okay, which is
Okay.
magic.sh.
Okay.
So when I run the script, so it basically prints this is from magic.sh.
Okay.
Okay, if someone changes the file name to magic-test.sh,
Okay.
okay, then I need to print basically this is from test.sh.
Okay.
My requirement is like
Magic
as
test.sh.
yeah
When we run the script, it should be displayed as this is from magic test.sh.
yeah basically file names.
Okay. Then we can use echo $0
Okay,
in the script.
okay. So do you know why we need shebang
It's
in shell?
a shebang line. It acts as a compiler.
Okay, okay. So in Jenkins, so do you know what is plugins in Jenkins? So it is not similar. I mean, in Maven perspective, plugin is like which will do some extra work than the normal thing. So in Jenkins also, so we'll have something called as plugins. Have you worked on? I mean, like, have you installed any plugins?
Yeah, I have worked on the plugins, Jenkins plugins,
Okay.
like the plugins like backup, thin backup,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and some other plugins.
Okay. So let's say you have installed some particular plugin. Let's say you
Okay,
have installed 1.4 of
okay,
some plugin. So I don't want to name it. So some
okay,
plugin you have installed it and I
okay,
want to downgrade it. So I want to downgrade it to 1.3.
okay.
So how would you do that?
So Jenkins plugins. Mm, it's like whatever the plugin which we have used. So
Mm-hmm.
you want to downgrade that plugin.
Yeah, correct.
So okay. Mm, we go for the Jenkins console.
Mm-hmm.
From there we go to manage Jenkins,
Okay.
then manage plugins,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll select the particular plugin.
Mm-hmm.
There we go for the advanced.
Mm-hmm.
There we use the hip
Mm-hmm.
so that the plugin will be downgraded to the previous version.
Okay. Okay. So you mean to say like, so you need to go to manage Jenkins and there you need to do it.
Yeah,
Okay. So have you worked on Jenkinsfile?
yeah,
So in Jenkinsfile, we can have multiple stages. You know
yes,
that, right? So
yes.
can we have a node for each and every stage, different nodes? So let's say in one stage I need to run Java, and
Okay,
so I need to have a Java machine. So in
okay,
another stage I want to run some node
okay,
project. So that's the reason I wanted to use a node as a um, one node which is as a Node.js installation. So I
okay.
wanted to use that. Is that possible in Jenkinsfile?
Yes.
Okay. So can you tell me different types of build triggers that you have used? So how will you basically how will you trigger a Jenkins job? You can list two to three. That's enough.
Okay, sure. Like we can use poll SCM,
Mm-hmm.
build periodically,
Okay.
and webhooks.
What is the difference between like policy and build periodically?
Build periodically, if it is enabled,
Mm-hmm.
then at a particular time of interval,
Mm-hmm.
even if there is a commit or any change or not, or any, if there is a commit or not, even if the commit is not done,
Mm-hmm.
the build triggers automatically at certain time.
Okay.
So while we are using poll SCM, if there is a commit, then it's going to trigger.
Okay, fine. And you have mentioned that like when I spoke about plugins, you have used backup plugin, right?
Yeah.
So only you have used basically you have used only that one method to back up your Jenkins, or you have used any other methods to back up your Jenkins?
Probably, I think I just used the Jenkins plugin, backup plugin itself
Okay,
for
fine,
taking the backup.
no issues. And how about AWS?
So I have worked on AWS services, some of the
Okay,
services.
so can you list few of them?
Yeah, like EC2,
Okay.
VPC, auto scaling, and SMS and IAM rules.
Okay. So what is in IAM? What is roles and policies?
Okay, roles, those things, we are giving control
Okay.
to a role which will affect on the EC2, like
Okay.
that is compute.
Okay.
And the policies are those which will be giving like giving privileges to the users
Okay.
in such a way they act.
Okay. Okay. So let's say I have 50 users. Okay.
Okay.
Basically they're from one team. So I
Okay.
want to give the same privileges for them. So they should access only EC2. So that time, which is the better way that you're gonna assign same privileges for all the 50 users?
Okay. All the 50 users belongs to the same team.
Yeah.
So then we can create a group of these 50 users
Okay.
and we can give the privileges to them for the group.
Okay.
So everyone will be having the same privileges.
Okay. Let's say another 10 people were there. So they're basically, they don't know what is AWS and all. So they
Okay.
wanted to access our AWS account basically from APIs. Okay.
Okay.
So I just want to give a programmatic access to those 10 users.
Okay.
So do you know how to give programmatic access?
While creation of the users, we can at the permission level, access levels, we can remove the Amazon CLI and we can give the programming
Okay.
access.
Okay. In EC2, let's say you have a machine, so CentOS machine. Okay. So on top of that, you ran many scripts and you have installed many things, many applications related to your project. So now, maybe the load or whatever the reason. So I need one more instance with the same configurations. Okay. So what would you do at that time? So I want a machine with the same configuration.
Okay, whatever the software or whatever the things are installed on it with the
Yeah.
same configuration, you want the same.
Yeah, correct.
Then from the console, we go to the server which is running on the machine which is running there.
Okay.
We'll just give a right click and go to the actions.
Okay.
From there, we'll create an image.
Okay.
Okay, so that first a snapshot will be created and
Mm-hmm.
then an AMI will be
Mm-hmm.
created. By using that AMI, I can deploy how many or whatever as per my requirement, I can deploy the number of instances required with the same
Okay.
configuration.
Okay. So AMI is basically region specific, right?
Yeah.
So I want to create the same machine. So let's say I'm in Mumbai region. So whatever the machine you have created one more copy of that. So it is region specific, right? All the machines and AMIs are region specific.
Yes.
So can I create a machine with the same AMI in another region?
Yeah, we can copy the AMI to, we can share the AMI to different region while after we can do it.
Okay, we can do it, right?
Yeah.
So basically you're telling like we need to copy the EMI from one
From
region
this
to
region
another
to other
region?
region.
Okay, okay, that's fine. And why we need security groups? So, I mean, while creating EC2, so you'll get something called as security groups, right?
Yeah.
So, why we need them?
See, security groups, it's for the access privileges. See, for example, there is an application installed which should be in public area.
Okay.
So like those are in public servers. So everyone should access to it. So if we that access, the person who is going to access will just give you the just gives the name of that site, whatever it is, whatever the application that is running on that server, he'll just give the name.
Okay.
But these uh, uh, this name has a CNAME where the port is being mapped for that.
Okay.
Okay, with that port only the access will be given through the internet gateway.
Okay.
So when the other person, when from the outside world, if anyone tries to access that application, the security groups will easily allow the person to access the website, and if there is any search from his side, and it would reply back to him.
Okay.
So the to
So,
and fro will happen easily.
okay. So, inbound rules.
And outbound rules.
Okay. So, by default, what is outbound rules? Basically, in security group, we'll mention only inbound rules, right?
Yeah. Outbound rules are that the response from the server to the outside world.
That is
So,
fine.
yeah.
So let's say you have enabled so some port or some public IP. So
Okay.
you have enabled from security group. So
Okay.
you have basically have, let's say you have enabled 80 port. Okay.
Okay.
So what about outbound?
Outbound, it's not required. If we give inbound 80, so the reply will be given automatically. That is, I said, to and fro
Okay.
will be easy for that.
Okay. So have you worked on VPC?
Yeah, I have worked on.
So do you know what is publics, private subnets, and what are all the other things will be there in those things and all? Can you just
Yeah.
give me a brief like about VPC?
Yeah. There was a scenario where we have to start a project at the initial level.
Okay.
There, for that, we have created a VPC, that is Virtual Private Cloud. In the Virtual Private Cloud mostly consists of private and public subnets.
Okay.
Okay, the private subnets are those which are accessible only for the internal users.
Okay.
And public subnets are those which will be accessible for the whole world.
Okay.
So, for example, the application server or the web server, whatever it may be, will be hosted on public servers,
Okay.
public subnets,
Okay.
and the database servers will be hosted on private subnets,
Okay.
so that the other users cannot access the database.
Okay.
So it's in private subnet. The other users cannot access it. Okay, then like the scenario is like whenever we have created and we have enabled some port,
Okay.
the communication will happen through the internet gateway from public subnet. The communication will go. See, the routing will happen from public subnet to internet gateway. Then it goes to the outside world.
Okay. Okay.
But then in private, the communication should not happen. That is that communication, the routing should not go through the internet gateway.
Okay.
If it goes to the internet gateway, then it is also a public subnet.
Okay.
So everyone will be able to access it. So in such to overcome this, there is another thing called NAT gateway.
Mm-hmm.
So that we configure the NAT gateway.
Okay.
One endpoint is connected to the public subnet,
Mm-hmm.
and another endpoint is connected to the private subnet. So
Okay.
whenever someone tries to access
Okay.
the public subnet, the NAT gateway prevents the access at the gateway itself.
Okay.
That is, outsider cannot access it.
Okay.
But assume that my database is in private subnet.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to update my database.
Okay.
Like I just want to make some update. So this should be connected to the internet.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, then
Mm-hmm.
it will go through the NAT gateway and it is connected to the internet.
Okay.
And if anyone tries to try to access the database, it is not possible as the NAT gateway prevents access.
Okay. So have you worked on any load balancers?
Yeah, I have worked on.
So which load balancers you have worked on?
I have worked on application load balancer and network load balancers.
So what is the major difference between them? So when you'll go for
Application load balancer is the one which here only the HTTPS and HTTP
mm-hmm.
will be what do you say? HTTPS and HTTPS will be balanced here.
Okay.
And the network load balancer those which allows all the TCP connections.
Okay. Okay. So have you worked on auto scaling?
Yeah, I have worked on.
Okay. So let's say I have a scenario here. So I've created one of my rule that if my CPU utilization is more than 60%, so I
Okay.
need to create one machine. Okay. So this is the auto scaling rule I've created.
Okay.
And now currently minimum machines are 3 and maximum is like up to 10. Okay.
Okay.
My 3 machines load is like this. Like one machine is 62%, another
Okay.
2 machines as 30%. 30% it has been used. In
Okay.
this situation, so will your auto scaling will create one more machine or not?
See, the auto scaling takes the average of all the 3 machines.
Okay.
So the average of the all 3 CPU utilizations.
So basically
If
you're telling it won't create a new machine.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine. And so how about Ansible? So
Yeah, I have worked on Ansible
okay.
for the deployment purpose.
Mm-hmm. So tell me the best method that we can make our YAMLs reusable. So how can we make our YAMLs reusable?
Okay, then we can go with the rules, Ansible rules.
Okay. So have you created any roles or something like that?
Yeah, I have created 2 roles.
Mm-hmm.
For the deployment purpose.
Mm-hmm.
One role fetches the files
Mm-hmm.
from the Jenkins,
Mm-hmm.
and the other role copies the file
Mm-hmm.
to the host or the server.
Okay. Okay. So do you know what is Ansible Vault and Ansible Tower?
Ansible Vault, it's actually like a vault means like it's a storage, like where the secrets can be stored.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have used Ansible Vault,
Mm-hmm.
so if suppose there is some file which is stored in Ansible Vault.
Okay.
So if we want the other person can't access it.
Okay. So basically you mean to say like
It's a protected one.
we'll store
And
all the passwords and everything there.
yeah, everything.
Okay. So what about Ansible Tower?
I'm not aware of it clearly.
Okay.
Haven't worked on it. I
Okay,
can
that's
give it a
fine.
search.
So let's say I have a playbook. Okay, I
Okay.
want to basically run that playbook with a root user.
Okay.
So do you know how to do that?
Need to run a playbook as with a root user.
Yeah.
I think I'm not aware of it.
Okay, so can you tell me the difference between, so basically I'm asking about difference between copy module and fetch module.
Yeah.
So do you know those modules before?
Yeah, actually the fetch module
Mm-hmm.
will search for the file,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the file that is being given by the in the playbook, it
Mm-hmm.
will search for that file
Okay.
and holds it.
Okay.
And the copy module will copy that file
Mm-hmm.
from source to destination.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. So Docker and Kubernetes. So have you worked on
See,
it or
Docker I
you have?
have worked on,
Okay.
but Kubernetes I just have a basic idea about that.
Okay. So
Like,
I in Kubernetes I'll ask the basic question. So okay.
sure.
So in Docker, so you know Dockerfile instructions, right? There are many instructions like run, cmd, entry
From,
point, and
yeah,
add, copy. So
yeah.
tell me why we need add and where we you'll use add and copy. So difference
So
between those two things.
copy is generally used to copy a file
Mm-hmm.
from source to destination.
Okay.
Okay. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, add is also used to do the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it can download or copy the compressed files
Mm-hmm.
from
Mm-hmm.
internet also.
Okay. Okay.
But both does the same thing.
Okay.
It will copy.
Mm-hmm.
Copy also does the same thing, but add. But the advantage of using add is that even the file is not available in the local space, we
Okay.
can get it from the internet.
Okay. It's fine. So the best practice in Docker is whenever you build a Docker file, so
Okay.
keep your Docker file in empty directory or files which are required. Uh, so which are there in present working directory. With that only you need to build, right?
Yes.
So let's say I have 1 GB file.
Okay.
Okay. So that is present in my that has to be there in Docker context. Okay.
Okay.
So it has to be sent to Docker daemon. So sending 1 GB, so that much big file, so it will take your network also, it will take much time. So is
Yeah.
there any other way, so by which you can,
There is a way that we can compress that file
uh
and send it to the Docker daemon, and whenever whoever pulls that image,
okay,
okay, he can untar it,
basically you
and
say like whatever the 1 GB file, just before
will
that uncompress it and then copy to Docker contain, Docker
Docker
image.
daemon.
Okay, Docker image and then, I mean, send it to Docker daemon, copy it to image and then untar it in the inside the container.
Container, yes.
Okay. Mm. So I want to, so let's say you have many containers, so which is in running state and few
Okay,
containers in exited state. So I
okay,
want to remove all the containers. I don't want anything to be there. So I want to make my instance clean. Okay. So how would
okay.
you do that?
So
So
then
command for that.
we can use Docker RM,
Mm-hmm.
mm, and the closed brackets,
Okay.
Docker ps
Mm-hmm.
hyphen aq. So whatever the process is running and whatever the process that are already in the stopping stage
Mm-hmm.
will be removed.
Okay. Okay. So then let's say I have created mm, so some files. Okay. Let's say you have some container, one container.
Okay,
Okay. So I have basically created some files and deleted some files inside the container.
okay,
Okay. So now I did many changes. Okay. So
okay,
basically adding up and deleting it and changing some files, configurations, many things I did.
okay,
But I forgot to note it down somewhere. Okay. So
okay,
now I wanted to see, so what all the files has been changed and what all the files has been added and deleted, those kind of stuff. Basically three things.
mm,
One is like I want to see what files have deleted and what files have added and what files have changed. Okay, in a container, inside the container.
Okay.
So do you know the command for that?
So we can use Docker inspect and the
Okay.
container ID or container name.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. So Kubernetes, you said you know only the basics, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, what are the objects you know in Kubernetes?
The objects like pod,
Mm-hmm.
service.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
So have you, I mean, like, heard about replica set and deployment?
Replica set and deployment.
Okay, can you just give me a brief about each object? So whatever
See,
you said.
pods are those where the containers are hosted.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the difference is that in Docker container a container is hosted on a machine,
Okay.
but here on ports the containers are hosted. We can
Okay.
have n number of containers,
Mm-hmm.
but not the same container with the same application
Mm-hmm.
on that same port.
Okay.
Can't have the duplicate of the
Mm-hmm.
running container.
Okay. Okay.
And services are those which are used to expose the whatever the um, whatever the services are used to expose to the
Mm-hmm.
outside world. Like
Okay.
say some application is hosted on the container and
Mm-hmm.
that is to be exposed. So it's like used for the exposing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, fine.
And
Have you worked on any kubectl commands? So can you tell me how to list the ports?
kubectl get ports.
And what about deployments?
Mm, Not
Okay.
aware of this.
No, it's like same as like that only. kubectl get ports. Ports you said, right? It's like
Yeah.
that only kubectl get deployments.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's all from my side, man. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
So I'll let you know the feedback. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.